In this short video, I want to show you a new tool that's available to you inside of Sakai in your course sites. It's nothing you need to add, it's just simply something that you can leverage if you want to. And it's as simple as going to a lesson area and adding the tool and then pointing to what it is you want students to talk about. I know that sounds all sort of nebulous, but let me give you an idea of what this is like. This tool is called Hypothesis, and it's very simple to add to your course site using any of the lessons areas, and it allows for students to have a different type of conversation about content. In fact, in many cases where students will be asked to go read an article or to use a link and go to read something, this provides that content right inside of Sakai in context, so you can actually have them talking and generating lots of conversation. In some cases where some instructors will use discussion forums as a way to generate discussion, some discussions just turn into a prompt that all students have to answer, and there's very little engagement students with each other about the content. This particular tool called Hypothesis seems to get at that idea of trying to have students have greater engagement with each other about the content, and in fact even more engagement with the instructor. Let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. I've got an economics course here on the left as the instructor signed in, and over here in the same course as a student on the right. I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to go down to one of these talk about sections which I've added and are the actual Hypothesis tool. I'm going to go ahead and select this one here so you can kind of see what this looks like. And I've already added the tool, and so the nice thing about this is once I've added the tool, then Hypothesis comes up right here on the right hand side and allows me to have conversations about an article. In this case the one that's coming from the Nike website about the third quarter results. And there are annotations that appear over here on the right hand side, some of which have come from students, as you can see down here. Other types of annotations can be added, including those that you might add from the library website, those sorts of things, PDFs that are publicly available, or even PDFs that you have inside of the resources area inside of your course site. So for example, I've got a PDF here that's from, I think it's from Bloomberg.com, that talks about the big ideas to save the economy, and so there are places here where students can go through and annotate, highlight, and leave notes, page notes, that sort of thing. The three basic things you can do with Hypothesis is you can either annotate content, you can highlight content, or you can go through and you can create page notes. Now, within the context of Hypothesis, students can even reply to each other and provide hyperlinks and other sorts of things in the annotations. They can also tag items, such as this one down here, where the student has annotated this particular item as truth. This could be a great way to have students go through and analyze a particular text or a particular document and go through and pull out very specific things, either by annotating, highlighting, or going through and tagging very specific things. Essentially, Hypothesis gets at this idea where you have annotations in a layered format. So essentially what you end up having is, with the exception of this general public layer, you have layers of annotation that can happen within the context of a website, article, or some other kind of content, specifically print type of content. So the nice thing about this is at the institutional level, we're not having to worry about this general public level, but we're able to look at this level that has to do with students engage in a particular course inside of your course site in Sakai. So getting back to sort of what that looks like, let's go through and show you what this looks like from the student's perspective. So this is this ABCD 1000 course. I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to the student's view and expand it slightly. And then in the course, I'm going to go to the same document, that Talk About 1.1. Here you can see that as the student loads the page, they're going to see that same document come up here in the center section, and they can go through and they can annotate things. So for example, I could, as the student, highlight this, and I could use the pop-up to either annotate or highlight. If I wanted to go through and annotate this, I could highlight it and select Annotate and provide my annotation over here. I can include links or other information. So if I want to provide, say, a link to that particular area or how that's interesting, I could maybe provide that here. And once I'm done, then I could also provide tags. So I could do link, tag, interesting, separating each of them with a comma, and then making sure that I've posted. Now, this is all fine and well, and this is how this tool sort of works, but you can also go through and grade students' annotations and look at the interactions of specific students across the entire course for a particular document. Let me show you how you go through about adding the actual the tool, in the sense that you're adding it to a particular PDF or an article of some sort. To do that, I'm just going to go back to my original lesson here, and I'm going to add it as one of those links that's down here. So I'm going to go through and just use the Add Content menu here, but you could use the one at the top and select Add and select Add Learning App. In the list, I'm going to select Hypothesis, and then in the tool title, I'm just going to continue with my listing here about, we said talk about 1.4 and talk about. Keep in mind that you want to try and title this whatever would make sense for your students within your lesson, and also if you're grading it, also make sure it's got a good understandable title, because whatever you put here for the tool title will also appear in the grade book for you and for students. I'm going to scroll down and select Save, and leaving all the other things blank. And then once I scroll down, I see I have a new entry here. I already have the website address for that PDF that I want to use that I've actually thrown into Sakai, and I'm going to go ahead and select the Talk About link now, and I get this configuration window. Since I'm not putting something in here from Google Drive, I'm just entering a URL of a web page or PDF. I'm going to select this and then scroll down and just simply paste in the long URL there to the PDF. When I'm done, I'll select Submit. After a moment, depending upon the length of the PDF, it will come up with that PDF, and I can see it inside the course site. Now students can go through and they can begin going through and highlighting things or annotating things, and you can see and grade those annotations. Let me show you how they go through and how they're graded. We'll go to the Talk About 1.2 here. And at the very top here, you can see that the article shows up in content, the content in context, as it were. And then I can also see all the things here. I can select to see that this is, you can search through the different annotations and the tags. You can look at specific page notes. There haven't been any page notes from anybody in the group, but I can also select and go through the students. So I could go to JU Student 1, and all of that particular student's set of tags and annotations come up. And then I can also go through and provide that student a score. Since I've set up my gradebook out of 100, if I put 7 there and submit, it's going to put that grade inside the gradebook for me. That's generally how you go through and use the Hypothesis tool inside of a course. There are other helps that are out there at the Hypothesis website, and other helps in terms of using it with students and having other ideas about how to use this sort of function for learning and teaching. If you have other questions, please let me know.